Hello and welcome to your Enthusiastic Game Guide. I'm Saradan and this guide will be showing you how to obtain your Long Forgotten Hippogryph. But is he really forgotten? I don't think so. So let's get straight into it. Most rare mounts are obtained by killing an extremely rare NPC with an outrageous spawn timer, meaning you are just sat idling and starting to disbelieve its existence. But this mount is not obtained by killing one of these NPCs. In fact, it's much like a treasure hunt. More so a crystal hunt though. So to start our journey we'll be heading off to Azsuna. Here we'll be keeping our eyes open for these little beauties, an ephemeral crystal. And now these are the keys to obtaining your hippogryph. Now unfortunately they're not this big in game itself, but to put it more perspectively, they're around about this size. But don't let that dishearten you whatsoever. Because of its radiating purple glow they are quite easy to spot, and they're not generally very well hidden. Either Blizzard are not good at hide and seek, or they want to at least give some players a chance, so you should be able to spot them a mile off. And, quite literally, a mile is exactly right because these crystals have an outrageous view range. So to get the Long Forgotten Hippogryph we need to click 5 Ephemeral Crystals, so this is going to be quite a long hunt because these crystals will spawn all over this zone, so it's quite a distance to cover. But one thing to note before starting your hunt is that there will only ever be a maximum of 5 crystals in the zone. But to have all 5 up in the first place, we need to have found and clicked at least 4 others. The way the crystal hunt works is that to start off with, just a single ephemeral crystal will spawn. Once that one is clicked, the second will spawn. Clicking that, the third will spawn, and so on and so on. But this also means that you may have to do several loops of the zone, because a crystal may have spawned at a point you've already checked. Oh yeah, it's just got fun. Each of the crystals has its very own buff. For instance, the first crystal will have a buff labelled Crystal Dummy Buff 1, and once you've gotten all 5 unique buffs, you'll receive the mount in your bags. Ephemeral crystals are not also phased to one person, so everyone can see them. That means if the hunt has already begun, you may have a higher chance of finding one, because there are more up. But that is also one thing to take into account. You're not going to be the only one looking for these bad boys, so it really is a race against the clock. But how can you tell if they've all been clicked? Well, the obvious would be the lack of crystals in the zone, but once the 5th is clicked, all current crystals will vanish and a zone message will appear in general, saying, "You hear a faint call in the distance, and then silence." So now we don't have to rely on people posting in general saying that they have gotten the mount. But you still might get that occasional gloater. In the scenario that you didn't get it, there is a nice little trick that may keep your hunt going. Because the buffs you have got are to your character and last for a good 8 hours, you may be able to carry them with you to perhaps maybe another realm where there might be crystals up there too. If there are crystals up there, you may come across some you may not be able to click. This is because you've already gotten that crystal's unique buff. So, for example, if you've already got Crystal Dummy Buff 3 and you see the 3rd crystal up in this new realm, you will not be able to click it, because you've already gotten that buff. But of course these crystals are not up all the time. In fact they're on a spawn timer. Shocker. But this one is not so harsh if you think about it collectively. Now you wouldn't expect to see these crystals up for at least 12 hours after the previous mount has been claimed, or even a server restart. But you won't have to wait longer than 40 hours for them to show. But what sweetens the deal for these is that they will only despawn after all of them have been clicked and somebody has gotten the mount, so they will remain, which is ace. Ace. The ephemeral crystals will not spawn in the exact same places each time they come up. They will spawn randomly at set points all over Azsuna, and there are a lot. In the description I have written in all known locations these spawn at. This data was created by the Discord group, who are a dedicated team of secret hunters, and what a job they have done. Full credit to them, good lads. But here is the map of all points scattered around. Lots, as I said. The best way to deal with these little beauties is to form some sort of route to work your way around, and somewhat remember where they are. 2 key add-ons to have for a more efficient way of obtaining this mount are, first being TomTom. This will put points all over your map when you write in coordinates of the crystals, and the second is Paste. This will allow you to paste, funnily enough, all the coordinates in one big go. These 2 add-ons come hand in hand. Now the buff you have may last for 8 hours, but it can be lost, particularly if you die. Well, you can lose a lot of things, quite a bit of gold as well. If you die, you will have to go back and re-collect the crystals, so you must make sure that you don't run through huge packs of mobs because it is inevitable that you will be dismounted and be done over a life and a half, but not the case if you're a demon hunter. Rogues are good under circumstances with their vanish. The buff also does not hold itself if you were to log out too, so you can't just log in and out every time there may be a crystal up. The buff will only tick away. The most efficient way of getting this mount is not to search on your own, but to recruit some friends to give you a hand. That way you can cover more ground and beat others on your search. But be sure to repay them the favour and do the same for them once you've gotten yours, and not completely abandon them. You don't want to be that person. Oh no, not that person. This was certainly the best way I found to getting the mount. To quote the Beatles, a little help from my friends. Thanks, Kim. Thanks a bunch. Thumbs up. And one last thing. When you click the last crystal, you'll see it. Oh, you'll see it. You'll see that poor forgotten hippogryph come back to life right in front of you. And it's a friendly rare. Don't think it would have been nice to kill it after it had been forgotten for so long. Imagine that! Being forgotten, and then you finally get the confidence to show yourself. You end up getting stabbed by a little gnome. Salt in the wound or what? Ouch! But yeah, he's friendly, for good reasons. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and keep an eye out for more guides on this channel. Hope you liked the video and got most of the information that you wanted to hear, and I wish you all the best of luck on your journey. But for now, take care.